Okay, hello everyone. This is my time to teach for light-dependent reaction. So the first part of light-dependent reaction is the energy that starts this reaction is from the sun, and the sun first excites the electrons in photosystem 2 and photosystem 1. They're both the green parts that I drew in my diagram. When they become excited, it causes the electrons to move through the electron transport chain, which makes ATP through a process called chemiosis. When the electrons go through the electron transport chain, they are transferred to the carrier molecules, which are the little purple circles that I drew, and they move and they are throughout the thylakoid membrane, which is just what this diagram is. This diagram is basically a zoomed in picture of a thylakoid membrane that is inside a chloroplast. As these electrons move through the electron transport chain, they actually lose energy. And when they lose energy, that is used to help make hydrogen ions into the thylakoid, creating a hydrogen gradient. This gradient is then used to fuel the production of ADP, where they go through this tall purple structure that I drew. They go up and then they help make ATP. The electrons that were transferred were moved from photosystem 1, or from photosystem 2, sorry, to photosystem 1 when they moved through the electron transport chain. Excited electrons from photosystem 1 then transferred to a carrier molecule and was used to reduce NADP, sorry. And then this forms NADPH, which is needed for the next reaction, which is light-independent reaction in photosynthesis. The electrons lost from photosystem 1 when they were moved are replaced by de-energized electrons from photosystem 2, which that's when it moved through the electron transport chain. And then the electrons lost from photosystem 2 are replaced by electrons released from water via photolysis. The water is then split by light energy into hydrogen ions and oxygen. And the products from this reaction are ultimately ATP and NADPH, which are then used in the light-independent reactions. So basically, just to review, the energy from the sun excites the electrons in photosystem 2 and photosystem 1, which then allows them to move through an electron transport chain, which makes ATP through a process called chemiosis. And then when the electrons go through the electron transport chain, they are also transferred to carrier molecules throughout the thylakoid membrane. And when those electrons transfer, they lose energy. And when they lose energy, it helps make hydrogen ions in the thylakoid, creating a hydrogen gradient. And this gradient is again used to fuel the production of ATP, where it causes the hydrogen ions to go through this tall purple structure all the way to the top, where it then helps make ATP. And those electrons that were transferred, they transferred from photosystem 2 to photosystem 1. And the excited electrons from photosystem 1 then transferred to a carrier molecule and were used to produce NADP. When they are transferred to NADP, this forms NADPH, which is needed for the light-independent reaction, which is after the light-independent reaction in photosynthesis. When the electrons are lost from photosystem 1, and when they are moved to the carrier molecules, they are replaced by de-energized electrons from photosystem 2, and the electrons lost from photosystem 2 are replaced by electrons released by water via photolysis. The water is then split by light energy into hydrogen ions and oxygen, and the products from this overall light-dependent reaction are ATP and NADPH, which are used in light-independent reactions in photosynthesis. Okay, thank you.